Welcome, Fright Nights, Monster Girls. It is I, Count Jackula.
And I, the Horror Guru.
And we just saw The Hallow.
Yes, the one with an A, right?
Yeah, Hallow
Okay.
with an A, because there's another movie out there called Hallow with an O, as in you are hollow, as opposed to you are unhollow.
Yes.
Now, this...
Don't mind that. That was just our headphones falling.
That was our headphones going, remembering the other Hallow movie, which is bad.
Which we watched, like, was it 2 years ago now? It was a while ago.
It was more than 2 years, but it was definitely a while. I mean, it was a movie so bad we didn't even vlog it.
Yeah, it was really fucking bad. We didn't like it, and we thought it was the other movie that we heard was good, and then we finally saw the other movie just now, and it was good.
It is good, yeah. The Hallow with an A is actually really good.
And we feel really stupid having made that mistake, but...
Yep. Yeah, because okay, so here's the setup of The Hallow. It's basically a surveyor has to go out into the middle of fucking nowhere, Ireland, and mark trees for destruction. Because what they do is they cut down all the dying trees, use those for lumber, and then replant them.
Yep.
You know, that's
Which I learned from Fern Gully.
Yep. And they even use the X's.
Yep, they use the X's.
Yep.
And they're a British couple.
Yeah. They're
London.
a British couple from London, but they're in Ireland.
Yep.
And this...
They have a baby.
Yeah, and they got a wee bear.
Which I thought that was kind of weird that he was going out into the woods and marking it with the baby there. That just seemed like... I don't know, something about that seemed a little dangerous, but...
Well, it's one of those like, well, I do what you want. Got
okay.
a Grizzly Adams, but...
But then he starts, like, inspecting mold and shit, and I'm just like, Father of the Year right here. Your baby's face is right there. Like,
Yeah. Come on. Let's not give the kid anthrax,
Yeah.
you know? But, yeah, so he finds a whole shit ton of black mold that looks really gnarly.
And it turns out there's, like, this local superstition about these fairy folk.
Yep.
These hollowed.
Yeah.
Who basically they protect the woods, and they don't want him, because he's a lumberer and he works for the lumber company, to be there because they're going to chop down the trees and destroy the woods.
Yeah. They don't care for that.
And of course, he's just like, that's superstitious nonsense. I'm a scientist. I know science.
Yeah.
And so, like, he's inspecting this mold, and it's like, oh, man, it's like this one fungus that, you know, gets into the brains of ants and controls them and shit. And
Yep.
then he tries to have sex with his wife, but his wife's like, that was nasty. We're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that the hollowed exists.
Yeah. So...
And that's not a spoiler. This becomes clear immediately.
Yeah, this becomes very clear. Like, there's nasty
This movie
beasties out
goes
there.
from 0 to 11 in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you see the monsters very quickly. They don't screw around.
No. And the monsters are really well done.
Yeah, they are.
They're
really amazing.
People in really great practical effects. There's probably a little bit of CG touching up some certain things, like when like little growths are happening. But even then, that looked like that might have been a practical effect.
Yeah. If there's digital effects, it's digital effects enhancing practical effects.
Yeah, I didn't notice it because, like, all I noticed was, like, all the great prosthetics they had on the actors that were doing all these great, like, walks and contortions to look like otherworldly creatures.
Well, there's some scenes where, like, they're stabbing eyes and stuff.
Yes,
that's probably
that's
CG.
probably, more than likely.
You know, but for the most part, it's practical. All the creatures are practical.
This is a full-on monster movie.
It is.
And you get a good look at these monsters eventually. Like in the beginning, they do the Jaws thing.
Yeah.
You know, less is more. And about 20 minutes in, you start to see them.
Yeah. Well, this delivers on the promise that I feel Don't Be Afraid of the Dark failed to deliver
I
on.
can see that, the remake of
Yeah, where it's like creepy fairies, and I'm like, I don't mind it being creepy fairies, but it's got to actually be
These are some of
creepy.
the creepiest fairies I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah,
There's a couple
really
moments
nasty.
where I jumped out of my skin, and it wasn't even a jump scare.
Dude, yeah. Like,
It wasn't even a jump scare.
Dude, I fucking jumped when they first showed the creature, and they do it really fast. It happens so fast, but it was so effective. I didn't even see the damn thing, and I still jumped.
And once you see it once, As the movie goes on, there are scenes where they're like talking and like the woods are behind them and you can see things.
Yeah.
In the woods.
Yeah. Once you realize that they're there, you realize they have been there in all the nighttime shots, and now you can't stop seeing them.
Yeah, it's fucking great, and it's super fucking creepy. And there was a couple moments where like my skin started crawling. I was just like, oh, geez, that's unsettling.
Yeah. They did such a good job.
This is a movie I would say is legitimately scary.
Yeah. We might as well get into spoilers.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Spoiler time.
Bam. Now, the great thing about this movie is this is a real quick get in, tell the story, get out.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to be only like 90 minutes.
Yeah. It's like an hour and a half. It's on Netflix. Check it out.
You know, once it gets going, it fucking ramps up and it doesn't stop and it keeps escalating.
Yeah.
Like there's a point towards the end of the movie where we have a character who is turning into a fairy folk who has a flaming scythe and is battling the fairy folk for the life of his child.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's this whole part of the mystery is the fact that they introduced the concept of the changeling.
Yes, there's a changeling in this.
Yeah, whereas the old changeling myth is basically the fair folk. They steal your wee bairn and leave a changeling in its place.
And they do this really good job of making you not quite sure which baby is the changeling.
Yeah, up until the last scene, you're not sure.
Because they play around with you, and like one of the people that's pretty sure it is the changeling is also going crazy.
Yeah.
So you're not entirely sure about his mental state of things, and you see most of like, oh, he's turning into a monster right now through his warped perceptions.
Yeah.
So you can't quite tell. Plus, he is being affected by the fairy folks. So you don't know how much he is like trying to trick her. And there's a lot of other little tricks they do, like right up until the last fucking moment where she has the baby and she runs off and she makes her decision and you're like, was it the right decision? Oh shit, the sun's coming up. Oh shit, the baby's not burning yet. Oh shit, she made the wrong decision. Oh shit, the baby's burning. Like it's
yeah, right up until the last scene.
Fucking suspenseful as shit, man.
Yeah.
This movie legitimately has tension and suspense, and even though I'm sitting there going like, this is not a really good father, like you start to care about the characters. You start to legitimately want them to succeed. You want him to get his back.
They have a really good harbinger. You know, the guy's like, don't stay off the path.
And he has like a Pumpkinhead moment. Like where like the girl comes to his house like, help us. And it's just like, get off my property. I tried to help you. It's like the opening of a Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. We're fucking like Lance Henriksen's like, you gotta help me. No, you get off you're not bringing it to my door.
It wasn't Lance Henriksen, it was Dick Warlock. Dick Warlock. The infamous Dick Warlock, who has the most amazing name ever.
Oh man, but the harbinger in this is great. All the characters are really good.
Oh, they're really well done, and this is a really well shot movie.
It is.
You know, like I love its use of green and blues. It's not one of those like, oh, this is the teal look that everyone does.
No,
like, this movie is green for a reason.
Yeah,
and it's not to feel like tinted. There are green things in the shot that make the shot green.
Yeah. The green isn't the green that's in the shot is enhanced.
Yes.
So that you always have this sense of it, of the encroaching woods.
Well, yeah, and there's some great uses of color too, because you'll have like the green woods, but like there's this one red like cherry tree sitting there.
Yeah.
And so like the lights going through those leaves and casting red on his face, and it's offset by the green behind him. So it's like you got this great like separation and use of color. Also metaphorically, because like he's now red. You know, it's like he's going evil. Like it's
really good. There's one thing I can criticize about the movie is that it ends with an unnecessary jump scare.
Yeah, it has a Bagul ending. That is completely pointless. You kind of see it coming, and it's tacked on.
It's super tacked on because you're like, if we had just ended right before then, perfect movie.
Yeah, maybe even if you just ended right before then and then put that like after the credits, it would have been better.
Yeah.
Because it like literally like you're just like, oh, this thing's gonna move. Oh shit, jump scare, but it's like a different shot.
Yeah. It's not even like a creature in the shot. It's like, oh, we literally just cut to a why. Yeah,
so it just that felt super amateur too.
It did.
Like this movie is too good for that.
Oh, it was way too good for that.
Thankfully the movie is so good that it doesn't destroy the movie in the slightest, but it is one of those like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
It was a really
like you could at least Night of the Creeps and worked it into the scene, but
I know, but nope. No. Nope.
What else?
There's really not much else to talk about. I just wanted people to know that they should watch the movie.
Yeah, The Hallow. I highly recommend this.
Yeah.
It's a really great monster movie. It's about a unique monster. How many good fairy monster movies are there?
There are very few.
Like I can think of Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, it's Pan's Labyrinth.
You know?
But even then, they're not like all malicious.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like there's fucking evil.
These are evil fucking fairies.
Yeah. You know, this is what this supposed to. You know, it's like, oh no, the she are out there.
God, that fucking little girl one's creepy as shit.
Oh god, the little girl monster.
The one that was obviously the girl that they heard was lost in the forest and was taken by the fair folk, and you see this one little girl, and you're like, oh no, that's not a changeling. That's the little girl turned into
a creature.
Just like the father is slowly turning into one as the movie goes.
Yeah,
which leads into some great body horror because you have like these moments where he starts like having like the fairy spikes poking out of his skin and shit, and his face starts disforming and his eyes start changing color. It's creepy as shit, and like. There's so much stuff with eyes.
Yeah.
That, like
the movie is so good, you never question the fact that for some reason these creatures want this baby, and they never explain why.
You don't even need it explained.
No, you really kind of don't.
The moment you know it's a changeling, like, well, that's just the way changelings work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what they do.
Exactly. That's using the folklore in order to get people to buy into the idea.
You know, it's like, why does this ghost bang around this house? Because they died in it.
That's what ghosts do.
That's what the ghosts do.
Oh, they go, whoa, they make books fly.
Maybe they have unfinished business that's keeping them there, but
yeah, who knows? Like, no, ghosts just throw books off shelves. You know?
It's just what they do.
Yeah, this is what we do. This is what I do for all eternity. I throw this one book.
But we do know that the reason why they're terrorizing the family specifically is because they're going to cut down the forest.
Right, because they've invaded. Yeah. They've invaded. They're not to be trusted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I guess with that, all we can really say is like The Hallow. It's on Netflix right now. Check it out. Thumbs up.